The first and most critical concept to understand is that soccer must be fun. Fun is the most important thing for the young soccer player. If your kids are having a great time at soccer, they're going to be learning at a very rapid pace. If your kids are bored, they might eventually quit. If you make your practices fun, high-paced, zany, goofy, no standing around waiting in line, your kids will be learning soccer at a very rapid pace. The practice games I'm going to show you are all self-teaching of real soccer skills. So as long as your kids are having fun with a ball at their feet all the time, they're going to be learning at a pace that you just won't believe. Several hundred touches at the ball every practice. You're the head coach. You're in charge of the fun. Have fun. Be a big kid. Play the practice games with your kids. It's fun. If you're enthusiastic and high energy, everyone will follow your lead. Some of the things we do to encourage fun are, we do team cheers. We do goal celebrations. We imitate animals, we imitate space heroes, whatever it takes. I'll do a cartwheel when a kid scores his first goal. We praise the players when they do something well. We do a lot of high fives. We run through a tunnel at the end of the game. We have snacks. We have team parties. We hand out SoccerHelp iron-on incentive patches. Most of all, I make my regular practices very active and fun. A fun-filled attitude is contagious. There are certain things that I never do. It's counterproductive to good learning. Players are never forced to leave a game or run laps if they lose a practice game. That's not any fun. I never associate any sort of punishment with soccer. I never scrimmage at practice. Scrimmaging is a poor way to learn soccer. You have one ball and only the best players get to touch it. Your weaker players just get frustration. I never have my players stand in line waiting to do something. Standing in line is wasted time that we'd better spent doing a soccer activity. Enforcing a line requires a tremendous amount of effort on the coach's part, especially with small kids. Abolish lines from your practices. You may wonder how you run a practice without having your players stand in line. You put a ball at every player's foot and you have them do the activity all at the same time. I minimize static coaching as much as possible. By static coaching, I mean one-on-one technical coaching with one kid and one coach. There are some instances that I have to do some direct one-on-one coaching, but I try to limit their time and duration, or I try to do them before or after practice or during a break. My practices look crazy. There's kids going every direction. There's balls going every direction. It looks chaotic, but it's vital for their soccer development, and it is a lot of fun. Soccer is played with the feet. This is critical for the young player. I am firm from the first day of practice that no one touches the ball with their hands. That includes coaches, kids, parents, grandparents, any visitors to practice. We never use our hands. For children this young, adults are a huge role model. The fastest way to get your kids to stop touching the ball with the hands is to stop touching the ball with the hands yourself. When a new player comes to practice, it's a natural thing for a kid to pick up a ball with his hands.
Sammy, use your feet, please, buddy. Drop it, drop it, drop it. Sammy, use your feet.
I gently correct this by saying, please use your feet, not your hands. And then when I see them use their feet, I praise them loud enough so that everybody can hear. Hey, look, Sammy's using his feet. Great job, Sammy. You will have to focus on this for your first few practices, but then it will become a routine thing that your players just never use their hands. They will even start correcting others they see use their hands. I'll never forget the day that I accidentally touched the ball with my hands, and one of my players said,
"Coach, don't ever touch the ball with your hands!"
So at the beginning of practice, I dump all the balls out of the bag. The kids never see me touch the ball with my hands. I put air in the balls at home. Two great ways you can emphasize not using the hands are carrot soccer and animal soccer. Neither one of these is a practice game in itself. Just combine it with one of the other SoccerHelp games. To play carrot soccer, gather your kids around you and tell them you're going to play carrot soccer. Tell them that you got to give yourself a good carrot top so you mess up your hair. Now, if you have long hair, it works better, but if you have short hair or no hair, just pretend. The next thing you tell them is, hey, carrots don't have arms, right? So I put my arms behind my back, and then I say, look, I'm a carrot. And off we go with the ball to play carrot soccer. The kids love it, and you've put their hands behind their back so they can't reach down and grab the ball with their hands. It works.
Look, I'm a carrot. Look, I'm a carrot. Sammy, look, how are your carrots?
Animal soccer is similar. You have the players pretend to be animals while you're playing a practice game that involves dribbling the ball. Now, the best animals to use are the ones that make cool, loud noises and the ones that require the use of the hands. Birds, for example, or crocodiles. Let the kids choose whatever animal they want.
Now Hannah's going to choose. Giraffes, ready? Giraffes.
But it's virtually impossible for a kid to flap his wings like a bird and use his hand on the ball. So if you imitate a crocodile or a lion or a bird or whatever you want, use something that makes them do something else with their hands, play a practice game, and they won't use their hands. And it's goofy and it's fun. The last thing I do at practice is a game called Balls in the Bag. To set it up, you just call out, balls in the bag. No other instruction required. The simplicity of this game is the beauty of it. At the end of practice, I have the players help me put away the balls into the bags by kicking them in with their feet and not their hands. They love it. At first, they use inset drives to shoot the ball into the bag, and later they learn how to flip the ball up. Abolishing the use of hands from your practice is incredibly effective. You will see improvement almost immediately. Do it on your very first practice and stick with it. Soccer is played with the feet. The first concept that I teach is dribbling. When a player gets the ball, he dribbles it down the field and scores. Dribbling is a series of small touches on the ball. Without a doubt, this is the most important soccer skill for a young player. At first, they're going to dribble the ball down the field and just dribble it into the goal without shooting, and that's okay. There are two important things I teach the players at this age about dribbling. The first is to keep the ball close. Dribbling is not kick and chase. It is keeping the ball under control all the time with lots of small touches. I teach this by telling them that the ball is like a puppy on a leash. If the puppy gets too far away, he runs off. In soccer, if the ball's too far away, the other team's going to steal it. Keep your puppy close to stop him from running away. The second concept I teach is to keep your head up. I don't explain this at all. Most of my practice games have a lot of traffic. By traffic, I mean lots of kids moving in different directions with a soccer ball. And all I tell them is, don't run into anyone. If a player is staring at his feet, they tend to get run over. It doesn't take them long to figure out that they have to pull their heads up to see what's going on around them. This builds field awareness at a very early age. Now, don't worry if they accidentally run into each other sometimes. That's normal. They're young, and they bounce back quickly. My first dribbling practice game is Go Score. Make sure every child has a ball, place a portable goal someplace else, and tell them all to go score. They do it all at the same time. Once they get all the balls in the net, pick up the goal and move it someplace else, and have them do it again. If you have more balls than players, then the faster players can go back and score a second time, while the slower players are still trying to score their first time. The next step up from Go Score is the big pile. Use as many soccer balls as you can and put them all in a big pile and tell the kids to score them all. Once they dribble and score one, they run back, get another, and score again, so that some kids may score twice, some kids may do it 3 or 4 times. Sometimes I'll challenge them to score them all before I can count to 50 or 100, or we'll chase them in a fun way to get them to move faster. The slower players go at their best pace, and the faster players go at their best pace, but the activity involves all the kids all the time, regardless of whether they're fast or slow. Soccer patches. These are a fantastic motivational tool, and the kids absolutely love them. They work great to encourage proper soccer and proper behavior. I'm going to explain the way I use the patches, which of course you can modify in whatever way you see best for your team. After every practice, I normally give out a black and white practice patch. As long as they participate with a reasonably good attitude, they get a practice patch. I've never not given one out. After a match, I give out colored patches for certain things. Under no circumstances should you give out patches for scoring goals. If you give out patches for goals, you're going to encourage selfish play. The goal itself is reward enough. I use patches to encourage other things like sportsmanship, hustle, spirit, passing, defense. The highest level patch I give is the Lion patch. That's because our team name is the Lions. You can use a different patch for your team. The only way a player can earn a Lion patch is an intentional assist. They pass the ball to another player, the other player scores the ball. The person that passed gets the assist, they get the Lion patch. It's the highest honor I give out because an assist is the ultimate form of sharing in soccer.
What do you get the lion for?
For getting the ball and passing it to somebody else.
Yeah.
And then the other person gets it in the goal.
Yeah.
The red patch is the bravery patch. Informally, this is called the blood patch. A player earns this by taking a hit or a hard fall, shaking it off, and getting back in the game. It's not earned by simply falling and getting back up. It has to be more than that. Now keep in mind that I'm not talking about asking players to play injured. If there is a real injury, the player should leave the field. This is a good way to coax a child back on the field if they're upset after falling. I make a huge big deal about the bravery patches after a game, and this has really toughened up my players in a good way. They fall, they eat dirt, they bounce back up smiling, and they keep playing. They almost never cry. I've sometimes given bravery patches to other teams. One of our players did a big monster kick and hit a girl in the head. She went off the field crying, but she came back out and played. At halftime, I came over and I gave her a bravery patch. She was beaming from ear to ear, and it really meant a lot to her. The star patches I use to correct individual behavior. For example, if you have a player who's pushing other kids, or a player who's very timid and won't attack the ball, or a player that runs off the field on their own. If I have a persistent problem like that, I'll call the kid aside before the game and I'll show them the patch and I'll define for them what is the behavior that I want to see. Billy, today I want you to keep your hands to yourself and not push other kids. If you do that, you can earn a gold star. Then I watch the behavior in the game, and if they accomplish the behavior, they get the gold star. If they don't accomplish the behavior, they get some other patch. Never give out the patch if they didn't earn the behavior. The patch system builds awesome teamwork. My team of 3- and 4-year-olds now plays defense, they pass the ball, and they work hard for an assist. They want the best patches on their uniform. Skill. We're not usually the biggest or the fastest, but we're always the most skilled. The reason for this is that our practice games are done under pressure and in traffic. If you teach a kid to dribble by himself and at his own pace, he learns a limited skill. Many coaches will have their players stand in a line and dribble one at a time through cones. This does not teach a player how to really dribble the ball. Real matches aren't like that. Also, only one player is doing the activity. The other ones are standing in line watching when they should be playing soccer. I see this all the time at other coaches' practices, and it breaks my heart to watch it. Have your kids play soccer all the time. On the other hand, if you do it with the kids all at once in a competitive situation, it creates pressure for them to do it faster. And with all the kids all around moving in different directions, they have to look up to not get run over. So they learn to dribble the ball in traffic. The method works because of traffic and pressure. To really master a soccer ball, players need hundreds of touches on the ball every practice. I have actually counted the number of touches my players get. I started my stopwatch and I counted it. They get about 30 to 40 touches on the ball per minute in an active practice game. Now that means over an average practice, they'll get 500, 600, 700, maybe even 1,000 touches on the ball at every practice. If you get that, you will be amazed at how fast they get really good.